Hello. Mark. Who was he? Today we have a word portrait of Mark, the Gospel writer. A quote from Mark's Gospel 14, verses 50 to 55. And they all forsook Jesus and fled. And there followed him a certain young man, having a linen cloth cast about his naked body. And the young men laid hold on him, and he left the linen cloth and fled from them naked. Well, that young man was Mark. Although John Mark was his Hebrew name, he had chosen to be known by the Latin Marcus, because he had a genuine interest in Rome, but not in the atrocities committed in the name of Rome. Let me explain. A little known fact is that most of the terrible deeds attributed to Roman soldiers were actually committed by Syrian conscripts in the Roman army. They hated the Jews, and it is believed that it was the Syrian conscripts who crucified Jesus. This would later lead Mark to be concerned for the spiritual welfare of the citizens of Rome in his gospel. Mark's mother, Mary, a godly, well-to-do widow, owned the house where the early Christians met and was well known as a benefactor to their cause. Now, Mark's uncle Barnabas was a Levite from Cyprus. He was about to accompany the Apostle Paul on his first missionary journey. They both decided to take young Mark along with them. And they did. But when they reached Perge in Pamphylia, Mark suddenly, as we say, upped and left. The Bible doesn't tell us why. And this caused a rift between them. And on his second missionary journey, Paul refused to take Mark along, which resulted in Paul and Barnabas going their separate ways. It was 10 years before Mark met up with Paul again, and this time all was forgiven. Mark became Paul's companion while Paul was under house arrest in Rome, and Paul, writing to Timothy in 2 Timothy 4:11, says, "Take Mark and bring him with thee, for he is profitable to me for the ministry." Mark owed his conversion to the Apostle Peter, who refers to him as Marcus, my son, 1 Peter 5, verse 13. And it was Peter who influenced him more than any other and brought the best out of him. For 12 years, Mark became Peter's close companion, putting his knowledge of Latin and Greek to good effect when Peter preached to the Greeks and to the Romans. But most of all, we are thankful that Mark had the good sense to write down Peter's sermons at the request of the Roman Christians, and drew upon Peter's first-hand knowledge of Jesus Christ, his teaching, his miracles, which became the bedrock not only of Mark's own gospel, but 90% of Matthew and Luke's gospels as well. Mark's gospel is a graphic, forceful, untarnished report of the facts, which he whizzes along where other gospels stroll. He uses words like straight away 42 times, immediately 17 times, and records 19 miracles of Christ. Tradition has it that Mark was sent on a mission to Egypt by Peter and founded the Christian church in Alexandria. And in the 11th year of the reign of the Emperor Nero, when killing Christians was tolerated, Mark was martyred on April the 25th, AD 68. His body was removed to Venice and buried there. The emblem of Mark's Roman gospel, the lion, is emblazoned on the standard of the Venetian Republic. So, in the story of Mark, we see the blessings of a Christian mother, a Christian home, the rewards of Christian service, and the sweet fellowship of Christian friends. For all the saints who from their labours rest, who thee by faith before the world confessed, thy name, O Jesus, be for ever blessed. Hallelujah, hallelujah. William Howe. So thank you for joining me.